In Columbus, Ohio. This is a discussion about the testimony that has already taken place on House Bill 178, also known as the Crown Act. This would make it illegal for anyone to be discriminated against because of their hair or their hairstyle when it comes to either public schools or the workplace. Let's take you live now down to Columbus.
Her auntie and getting ready to come into school. And when she walked in, she had the cute little rose, and she talked to me about the beads she had in and how they matched the butterflies on the ends. She was proud of it even a year later. But she walked in, and that principal pulled her aside before she even got to her first day of class in her classroom and said, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to go home. You don't meet our hygiene code," I think was the name we used, rather than dress code. Now, think about your first day of school or your kid's first day of school. In my case, my grandchild's first day of school coming up. The insecurity they have going for the first time, riding that bus, going into that classroom, and then to be told you don't belong here, something you're very proud of, something that's part of your heritage, you're sent home for. What does that do for the rest of your academic career? What does that do for your self-esteem? And from that day forward, I've been a fan of addressing the issue. And I want to thank some folks who are no longer members, who Representative House pushed this for several years, Representative Brent for picking it up, and thank you for allowing me to join you in this crusade. This matters. This matters a lot to a large segment of our population. And I'm excited that hopefully this is the year we actually finally get over the finish line and get it done here in Ohio. Something that's right, something that we should have done years ago, something we shouldn't have to do. But darn it, we do, and we'll get it done. I'm so glad to have everybody here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Councilmember Shayla Faber, and I have the honor of chairing for the City of Columbus, our Housing, Criminal Justice, and Judiciary, as well as our Health and Human Services Committee. I am here today because in 2021, my former colleague, Councilmember Priscilla Tyson, and myself, we sponsored the Crown Act, and it successfully passed. Now in the City of Columbus, discrimination includes race as it extends to any historical traits that could relate to one's race. And so that includes coily, curly, dreadlocks, whatever it may be. That is now included in our code for the City of Columbus. That also extends to what discrimination means. And because now that definition has changed in the City of Columbus, you can no longer be discriminated as it relates to matters dealing with fair housing, employment, or educational spaces. And so it was an easy decision to make, to be here in support of Representative Brent as she continues to push this movement forward on behalf of every Black woman, Black man, Black girl, young Black men in the state of Ohio. This is personal for me. I am a Black woman, I'm a proud Black woman, but I have struggled as a professional woman, as a woman who is trained to be an attorney, and knowing that what is determined to be professional and spaces is often not what my hair naturally looks like. And so over the years, I have spent money and time amending myself to fit in what society has determined to be professional settings. And it extends beyond just professional settings, but being a young girl growing up and being in spaces where my hair looked different than my other young colleagues, and feeling as though, not even feeling, knowing that I needed to manipulate my hair, something that naturally grows out of my scalp. And so today is a great day because we have the opportunity to educate folks, to let people know what people that look like me experience every single day, that we deserve to have the same opportunities, and to not face discrimination simply based on the color of our skin or the texture of our hair. And so it is with great honor and great pleasure that I am here to advocate alongside Representative Brent and our fellow advocates behind us today so that we can extend this movement beyond Columbus and Cleveland to now the state of Ohio. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so very much. My name is LaDosha Wright, and I stand before you as a representative of the cosmetology industry, the Ohio Beauty and Barber Alliance, and the Ohio Association of Beauticians. And personally, I would like to thank you so much, Representative Brent, for bringing this Crown Act to the state of Ohio. From the perspective of the cosmetology and barbering industry, we want you guys to understand the importance of passing the Crown Act is really addressing the issues, what we see from behind the chair as Afrophobia. And so if we can pass this act, then to her statement that she just made before, we get to teach the world that straight hair does not belong to white people no more than textured hair belongs to people of color. So the Crown Act is definitely taking it to the next level. So on behalf of the barber and beauty industry, we appreciate you, because this allows us to advance our industry to new heights to meet the demands of our career. So please pass the Crown Act. And I just want to give you a hug in public.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mitty Davis Jones, and I am here attending a day at the Capitol with my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Our sorority is known for pursuing civil rights, human rights, and social justice. However, today I'm speaking as an advocate, a community advocate. I support the passage of the Crown Act because it only makes sense. In a few days, we will be commemorating Juneteenth. Juneteenth is recognizing the freedom and emancipation of Black people in this country as slaves. Yet, we're not free to wear our hair the way we want. It's such a bizarre juxtaposition. There are more beauty salons now. There are more hair products now. There are more barbershops now that provide care for African American people, yet we're going in the complete opposite direction in some ways in terms of being able to utilize those services to pursue our expression of how our hair is worn from a cultural standpoint, from an ethical standpoint, and even from a health standpoint. Research has shown that some of the products that Black women have used over the years to straighten their hair are jeopardizing our health, contributing to cancer. Hair color contributing to cancer. Put them together and it seems like a pretty deadly mix. It is time for the state of Ohio to join the other 22 states in this country, as well as some 60 or so cities, 3 or 4 of which are in the state of Ohio, to pass the Crown Act to prevent economic exploitation, economic denial, educational denial, where children have been denied the right to go to school, to participate in sports. People have been denied jobs because of the way that their hair looks. Let's get into the 20th century, 21st century. Yeah, I said we were going backwards. And let's get real about this. Let's pass the Crown Act. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Iris Cooper, and I'm originally from Indiana, but I am here in Ohio because of a man named Charles Lazarus. Heard that name before? Well, Charles Lazarus was an adjunct professor at Indiana University, and I was the only dark face with nappy hair in the room in the MBA program at IU 100 years ago. I'm not going to even go there. But at any event, he brought me to Columbus based upon what he knew about me in the classroom, not what he saw. And he was kind of a cast out too, being a Jewish man running all these big stores. But he gave me a chance because he knew what was in my head, not what was on my head. And I just want to say that we have to get beyond the superficial opinion of people. If you can look at the world from the way I look at it, we're going in the wrong direction as it pertains to judging people. It's really about the heart and the brain and how you wear your hair, or what color is on your fingers, or what kind of dog you walk is really not relevant, folks. So as I stand here today with all my sisters, I can tell you I've had probably 30 different hairstyles in my life, but I still have the same friends and family. So I hope you make the right decision and not make it on something superficial as we talk about it today. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Linda Caney. I'm the president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Central Ohio chapter. The Coalition of 100 Black Women is about advocacy and advocating for Black women and girls unapologetically to address discrimination in the areas of health, education, and economic empowerment. So I want to talk a little bit about the economic impact that hair discrimination has on Black women. Black women are oftentimes in the lowest paying jobs, the lowest entry level for positions, and to use hair as another screening out of competent professional women is purely discrimination, another tool in the toolbox to use to discriminate against Black women. Along with, we talked earlier yesterday about names that are seen on resumes that immediately puts those resumes aside. Well, hair is doing the same thing. There was an instance where a woman was hired to work in a call center where she was not even interfacing with the public. And they were asking her to cut her dreads so that she could work in a call center. So the idea of what is professional and what is not is very, very subjective and can have devastating economic impact, particularly on Black women, when we are the primary breadwinners of our households, the most educated of any other group, and to be denied employment or opportunities because of what's on our head or what we choose, how we choose to wear our hair, is at the heart of discrimination. So we hope that you will consider seriously the impact, the economic impact that not supporting this legislation will have on our economy. And we want the state of Ohio to be better than that. We don't want Ohio to be a brain drain because we are discriminating against women because of how they wear their hair. I also serve on the Columbus Community Relations Commission, and we address issues of discrimination, and this will be one of the categories that we'll be looking at in terms of employment and employee relations. So I urge you all to support, to do what you can. Contact your legislators here in the state of Ohio. Support Rep. Brent as she moves this along, and Rep. Callender as they move this initiative along to be in the 21st century along with other states. If the state of Texas can do this, we know that we can do this in Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We know that we belong here, and passing the crown is not just a them issue, it's a us issue, and affects us so much. We don't need any more situations where kids cannot belong to a wrestling team because of their locks. We don't need any more situations where if your child is wearing their Afro puffs, that they could not be able to participate in this. And I also just want to make sure we acknowledge some other people in the room. We have the president of the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus, which is the oldest Black caucus in the nation, Rep. Upchurch. He's standing in the back. And also Rep. Brown, who is from Franklin County, who is also standing up here in the front. And I appreciate all of my colleagues who have co-sponsored, who have had meetings, because we have to pass the crown. This is the third time that I have introduced this bill. This is the first time I've had a Republican joint sponsor, Rep Calendar, but he's always been an advocate and a supporter, and as well as an ally in this, because this is an everybody problem. So when we address this, we make sure that all students will be able to be seen, because you belong here in the Ohio Revised Code. And we have to say it like that because we have to know that laws mean something. Laws tell people where they belong and who can be in these different places of space. And I know as a kid, I had my Afro Puffs all the time, and I couldn't imagine somebody telling me to go home because of my Afro Puff, but that is what's happening in 2023. This is not what's happening in 1912. This is in 2023. Kids are getting sent home because their hair is in braids and Afro Puffs. And I know that if my hair was like this and I was in school, I could get sent home here in the state of Ohio. We just want to make sure that people can legally handle this, to be able to be a classified protective class because of their texture hair. So I'm gonna invite my my joint sponsor, Rep Calendar, up so we can accept any questions.
Has the holdup been previous times? Why is this time different? Are you confident it will pass?
Can I be honest? He's a Republican. I have a Republican joint sponsor. And anytime we want to do a bill as a Democrat, we're in a super minority, I have to have a Republican to even get a hearing.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. We've got some other news we have to get to today. The introduction of House Bill 178, the Crown Act, very important. If you are watching this stream on Facebook and would like to continue, please go to the Cleveland19.com, click on the Crown Act story, and this will continue to stream there. We do have some other news coming up at 11:30. Cleveland seems to have a problem with missing children, and the city is going to address that at 11:30. So again, if you're watching on Facebook for the Crown Act, you can go to Cleveland19.com and continue to watch.
Discourse about the way that you wear your hair,
Yes, I have.
and it's in its natural state.
Yes, it is.
And so I greatly appreciate your compassion and understanding toward the trouble we have faced.
I actually had a speaker here a couple of speakers ago who's no longer really free to run the public. But
God
why
is
is that
good.
funny?
God
And
is
he followed
good.
me around with scissors for a couple of weeks, threatening to cut it off. And I think it was serious.
Thank you for pardoning.
So we've had 2 committee hearings in the Civil Justice Committee, and we look forward to having at least 1 or 2 more so we can be able to pass the Crown out of and bring it to the House floor. But the public needs to know this is an everybody problem. We have to continue putting pressure, and I just want to thank all of our groups that have come as allies, the Cleveland NAACP. We have our president, Kayla Griffin, to my right, to your left. We also have our the lovely ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We have the National Coalition of Black Women. We have our Barbers and Beauties